What's going on, everybody? Kicks and Picks podcast. Nick here with you. We are not able to record a pod this week, conflicting schedules, so we are just going to hit you with a quick short video with some of our picks. Not even telling you who picked what because a lot of us like the same thing, so just going to give you a couple of them, run down our rationale for it. Some of them start today, so listen, share soon. We like Aston Villa on the money line, minus 130. They are taking on Bournemouth. We do not believe in Bournemouth. They did mess us up. They've been hot and cold these past couple of weeks, but Villa are looking good. They're coming off of that 2-0 late win against Arsenal at the Emirates. They are really looking to capitalize on this momentum and cement their spot in top 4 or top 5 for this Champions League. Similarly, in the Premier League, we like Everton money line against Nottingham Forest. This is the win and stay in match between these two. I think Everton at home are going to have the advantage. We've seen the financial fair play come down on Everton a little bit unnecessarily hard, depending on how you feel about it. But they've been through a lot of adversity. They've actually played better than their record indicates. No fans of Everton here on the pod, but definitely expect a bounce back. And, that home field atmosphere has kept them to salvation over the past couple of seasons. This is that game for them. Plus 105 on the money line against Nottingham Forest. This next one, if you listen to the show, you may have an idea of who picked it, but I won't tip my cap any further than that. Fulham to score first, plus 175 against Liverpool. This is a little bit of value for you here. Liverpool's D has not been good since coming back from that international break. Only 2 clean sheets out of 13 league matches. They've conceded first in 44% of matches. So you guys have heard Scotty talk about this week in and week out on the show. On the road, short rest out of the Europa League. It could be rotating a little bit. They could be a little bit dejected. So definitely Fulham to score first, plus 175 if you like a little bit of value. Let's move to Serie A for a couple of picks. Hellas Verona versus Udinese. Both teams to score, minus 120. Relegation 6-pointer in this one. Both of these teams are 1 point above the drop. If either team were to lose, they would be in real jeopardy. Usually these earlier on in the season, this could be a cagey, tense, tight affair. This one should follow that, but I think history says that both teams score in this one. Hellas has not kept a clean sheet in 4 straight. Udinese haven't kept a clean sheet in 8. Both teams to score has hit in 4 out of 5 for Hellas, 5 out of 6 for Udinese. So the last game, 3-3 draw. Udinese are kings of the draw, so you guys know what's going to happen in this one. Minus 120, great bet on that. Roma, plus 120 against Bologna. Big head-to-head. Roma has an absolutely hellish schedule coming down the stretch. They're going to need points. Big win over Milan in the Europa League. So we'll see what happens, but the first priority is going to be a top 4 or top 5 finish for Roma. This was unthinkable just about a month and a half ago. De Rossi really has turned this team around, and a win against Bologna, who has not scored in 3 games, by the way. That's going to be, a huge leg up for Roma. They're at home. We went from being correct about Bologna, saying that they don't score enough goals. It's going to be really tough for them to solidify that top 4 position, to being very wrong about Bologna. They ran out a 6 or 7 game winning streak. And then we've been right about Bologna again. Fantastic story. Fantastic team. Thiago Motta has done a great job. They're just not getting the goal contributions that they need. Ferguson is now out for the season. They've been dealing with suspensions. They've been dealing with injuries, players having knocks here and there. So Bologna is really going to have to prove it to us in this one that they can get back on the score sheet. Roma is by far the hardest opposition they've played in the past 3 or 4 games. So we like Roma in this one. And then 2 games that start today. Lazio draw no bet against Genoa. They are away, but listen, Lazio has a very, very, very outside chance of making that 5th spot. I think analysis puts them at about 2%. So Still possible. They have a very light schedule, maybe the easiest schedule of any of the contenders left. That all starts today with Genoa. Now, listen, Genoa has been very good. They're mid-table. They're in about 12th or 13th place. They're safe from that relegation after coming up from Serie B last year. But Lazio is going to have to run off probably 5 out of 6 to have any chance and still making the Champions League for next year. Either way, expect a better performance, expect to turn around with the new coach, Tudor, at the helm. That game starts today, actually 12:30 today on Friday. And then we have Juve minus 140 on the money line against Cagliari. That is also Friday. That is the late kickoff at 2:45. Listen, here's the reality. Juve has pretty much screwed us 2 weeks in a row. Same kind of situation, right? Draws. They haven't been able to score. They've created a ton of chances. They just haven't gotten it over the finish line. Last week was brutal. Can't see them doing that again. Cagliari will be tough. They are fighting for relegation. So, the worry about playing a team like that, you saw it with Napoli last week. I think Cagliari did a really, really good job. They're going to be clawing for every single point they can get. But Juve with 1 or 2 good performances pretty much solidifies them in that top 4 spot. So I think Juve get right here minus 140. A little bit chalky, but if you're interested, is a decent play for Friday. Also, in the Derby, I think we're leaning towards Inter Milan. They're plus 105 against AC Milan. Milan is going to be feeling pretty upset after getting knocked out to Roma in the Europa League. But man, Inter has really, really, really dominated this fixture. In the last 20 head-to-heads, Milan have only won 3, and they've drawn twice. Inter have won every other one of those games. Didn't do an analysis for this game, didn't do a deep dive, but just recent history, Inter getting a great number on the money line and knowing that they can clinch the Scudetto this year if they win this game. Something to keep an eye on. So Inter money line plus 105. I think the final play we have is in Germany. Stuttgart money line and over 1.5 minus 135 at Werder Bremen. If you guys have been following, Stuttgart has been an absolute wagon for the podcast. Unbeaten in 9 straight. Werder Bremen winless in their last 8. I think that kind of tells you everything you need to know. Stuttgart finds itself joint second with this point streak, 7 clear of a top 4 spot. So I think if they roll Werder Bremen as we expect them to do, that Champions League spot is all but sewn up. Stuttgart over 1.5 minus 135. Thank you guys so much for watching. Kicks and Picks podcast. We do all Champions League coverage. We will get you a regularly scheduled episode. We drop every Thursday on YouTube, on your favorite podcasting platform. Follow, share, like, subscribe. Appreciate your support. Good luck this weekend. See you next week.